I recall in the early morning hours last night working on the 99th Dan Hamming. I'm just currently trying to figure out what to do next. I woke up, did some studying for the geography, the politics of geography midterm. And then Dad took me out to eat at the Blue Ridge Grill. And I got my usual of an Eggs Benedict. That time in particular, I got the classic Benny because it's cheap and delicious. And then I in particular got orange juice over coffee because I knew that I still had some cans of Rockstar Punched. So besides not wanting to overdo it on the caffeine, I also knew that it's important to get your vitamins as part of a preparation for preparing for the midterm. I wanted to bring my textbooks in for my politics of geography textbooks in to Blue Ridge, but my dad didn't want me to do that. Because we were going in to eat. Dad got an omelet that came with his choice of French toast. I chose hash browns, and Dad put some ketchup on the hash browns. I typically eat pretty fast, but to the point where Dad usually tells me to take my time because I eat faster than him. And I sort of tried to do that, and I think I somewhat succeeded. I think by the time I was done, he had about a third of the omelet left. I didn't ask what he got, but I think it had some kind of meat and some kind of cheese in it. This is a vegan mac and cheese. The cheese meaning it has fake cheese. I got the regular chicken tenders and the haddock casino, which I think means haddock with a random dressing or garnish. I got my sauces from near the grill station. Actually, no, it was at a separate area. The grill station is now right next to the place where you primarily pick up your food. I had some difficulty in opening the ranch dressing sauce packet, so I accidentally got a bit on the mac and cheese. I have no idea if ranch dressing is vegan or not. As for my American political thought class, we went over the Articles of Confederation, basically the precursor to the Constitution. The Articles of Confederation is what set up the first official government of the United States. But at that point, they weren't really united per se. Each of the 13 states had one vote, which my professor said wasn't really fair, since that meant a state with a small population had the same voting power as a state with a large population. Which may lean more towards it being unfair to the large states, since obviously you would want more representation for those who make up more of the population. Historically, African Americans have been underrepresented on the jury system due to practices of African Americans being excluded from juries. Now, that practice doesn't happen every single time, but it happens often enough that it's a cause for concern. Especially given recent events. You could say that the world is kind of in a crossroads. Given the issues of climate change, the coronavirus pandemic, human rights, establishing a higher degree of relative peace, because I do know we're currently in about 70 years of relative peace, in that it's been 70 or so years since the last war between major powers. Which is a good thing, because a war between major powers now would run the risk of nuclear warfare. As I said for one of my responses to a short answer question for my midterm, the most powerful states are generally those with the most advanced technology. That's been the benchmark both historically and in recent times. Historically, these states would be able to subjugate states with less advanced technology. Some states were able to develop more advanced technology due to their geographic location, because locations with temperate climates would be able to support crops with a higher relative nutritional value than places with tropic climates. Places with temperate climates generally had animals that were able to be successfully domesticated, thus reducing the workload. This is some of what I said to responses to short answer questions. The midterm consisted of 15 short answer questions that I had to answer in an hour. I kind of rushed it a little bit because I thought it would shut me out at the end of the hour, but as it turns out, I ended up taking an extra 7 minutes, which is more than the extra 5 minutes I took for my second in-class writing assignment some days ago for American Political Thought, but that's not too bad, and it only occurred because there was no countdown, no timer to count down the hour. I called my dad right before I started taking the midterm, and he's advised me to take it about 15 minutes before the last hour I could take it, which was at 5 p.m., because I was only supposed to be given an hour to take it. I was supposed to have it in by 6 p.m. I took it at about 4:43 p.m., and I submitted it about roughly 10 minutes before 6. So it should be about 6 right now. To try and save some time, I got a meal at the Subway that's in the sort of the square area that sort of makes up a food court area within within Seymour Union. I did this after my American Political Thought class. I got a turkey breast sub with mozzarella, got it toasted, had lettuce, cucumbers, and black olives put on it, then mayo, then barbecue, which are probably the least healthy dressings they have. But that's just based on what I think I know. Not what I truly know. I got it on the Italian herbs and cheese bread, even though I think next time I'll go for the 9 grain as it has fewer calories. Right before my American Political Thought class, I had a can of Rockstar Punch, which has 61 grams of added sugar, which is more than your entire recommended daily value for added sugars. On top of that, it has 240 calories, which is a lot when you realize that there are energy drinks with 0 calories. As for right now, I'm pretty close to turning into a frog and game hag. So I'm going to try to complete some tasks. Trying to complete a task on Crossout. Hopefully Game Hag is now able to track that since I created a separate GameGen account for my dad with his permission. I informed him that that's what I was going to do, and I ensured he would not get extra emails from me making the account. For the username, I had to put a 2 at the end since obviously I already had a GameGen account for War Thunder. And I've already completed all the tasks for War Thunder. And Ram Pressure. And Vast Wars. And as for Elvenar, I don't know if they're going to have tasks for that game again. And even if they do, I've still got a ways to go before I'm able to get the Tomes of Secrets. Right before my American Political Thought class, even more right before it, I picked up a physical copy of my certificate for completing the presidential level of the Leadership Development Program. they didn't really. I sent the certificates out digitally, but I either didn't get the email or I didn't read it. So I kind of more went to these offices because they were on the same floor as my American Political Thought class in the Seymour Union. I'm assuming the certificates were given digitally due to the ongoing pandemic. It took a while for the certificate to be printed out properly, but I did get it without too much trouble. I tried to take notes to prepare for the midterm by editing notes onto the study guide for the midterm, which I downloaded off Blackboard. And I also looked at PowerPoints that I also downloaded off of Blackboard, but obviously I did that more to follow along with Monday's lecture sections, which oddly enough did not occur today. It's a Monday, but the professor never showed up. I only recall one other student showing up. I believe their name was Solomon. I initially thought that was the professor because at the time I didn't really recall the professor's name. I looked up the name on the syllabus and realized that it was a student and most likely and not the professor. And so yeah, the professor for Monday's session never showed up. I'm not really sure if that was intentional or not. I'm currently hoping to find something healthier than the Rockstar Punch drinks. Ideally something with no sugar and no calories. Because sugar not only contributes to tooth decay and type 2 diabetes, it also contributes to weight gain. And I don't think it really gives you any extra energy. That's ideally what caffeine does. After eating out at Blue Ridge, Dad went to Michael's and got me this piece of styrofoam. I said that I wanted 4, but only got this one because they only had this one. But hey, one is definitely better than nothing. I have these markers with which to make something out of this piece of styrofoam and this piece of styrofoam. They still have yet to make something out of. And then, of course, after going to Michael's, my dad went to Wegmans to get me a box of Cheez-Its and some granola bars and some splash flavored water bottles. He actually got 2 boxes of Cheez-Its and gave me a choice between a box of regular Cheez-Its or a box of hot and spicy Cheez-Its infused with Tabasco. I chose the regular Cheez-Its as I didn't really feel like getting something spicy at the time. As for my granola bars, oddly enough, he didn't get these like he usually does. Instead, he got these and these. And in preparation for the midterm, I closed down a bunch of stuff that I otherwise have open pretty much all the time. Like my game of Game of Thrones Winter is Coming. I ended up getting attacked again, and now a lot of my army is in the hospital again. Which is bad because healing them costs resources, and I only have so many.